joining me here on Zoom. I am so glad all the time when I get a chance to talk to the amazing Shelley Davis. Shelley A. Davis is a boss out here on these literary streets. One of the best storytellers in the world. There's an event that is happening next week, the 13th and 14th at Little Black Pearl on the beautiful south side of Chicago, located in the Kenwood neighborhood. That's not like that. Calm down. And it's called The Lake Effect, and it's storytelling from unbelievable women who have done some amazing things. This event has a lot of weight behind it, and joining Shelley and I, is Ayanna Clark, who is one of the storytellers. We're going to talk about The Lake Effect and this great event. Shelley, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, Mario, I'm well. Thanks for having us. We are so excited to talk about our show coming up.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you all are here, and thank you for joining me. And anytime I can lend myself the space for you, I'm doing it, and you already know why. So we don't have to go all off into that. But you call me and say, "Hey, this is what we're doing." I'm like, "Well, let's do it then." Um,
Appreciate you.
yeah. No, not a problem. Soul Collective has been busy doing a lot of really cool things. Talk to me about the Lake Effect and what this is going to be for the people who will be attending.
Yeah. So if I could just tell a little bit for those that haven't heard me before, who Soul Collective is, and then I want to turn it over to Ayana to talk about the theme because she has been um this she led the process in us coming to the theme of the lake effect. So Soul Collective, we've been telling stories together for this is our sixth year. We started like a month before the pandemic, practically, and got together. We are all women of color who write and tell our own stories and perform them on stage twice a year. And we do high polished productions that are fun for the audience. And we know that our stories are coming from women of color, but these themes are universal, whether they're about love, family, heartbreak, loss, grief, all, all of the things that we know happen in everybody's lives. But what's exciting is that oftentimes women of color's voices don't get told, our stories don't get told, or they're told in a very specific way that seems specific to us, instead of knowing that these stories really, someone can find something in their life, regardless of their background, that they can relate to. But I want to turn over to Ayana to talk about the theme.
Thanks, Shelley. Hi, everybody. My name is Ayana. I am both the marketing director and the show director for Soul Collective. So, my first show that I directed was our winter show, All Together Again. And I'm happy to come on now for my second show with Soul Collective. So, about the theme, it's so interesting because you talked about the cold, and that's partially how this theme came about. So, following our last show, it was really about togetherness and the feelings around the holidays. And so when we got back together to talk about our spring show, a lot of the women on the call were talking about feelings of isolation or feeling like we're in this season of change with everything going on politically and in our city, and this need for us to all still feel connected. And so we bounced around a lot of different ideas, and what we came up with was the fact that the sun and the lake interact in different ways. And in the way that they interact causes a shift in these other areas. And so some of our stories are exploring what happens when those forces connect, whether it's the people that are in our lives, whether it's situations that have changed us for the better, or some of us are just telling stories of what it's like growing up in Chicago. Because if you're a Chicago girl, you can't grow up without going to the lake at least once or twice in your life. And so this theme really encompasses all of those things that have happened to us that everybody across the city can relate to.
It's a fact of life if you're a Chicagoan that you will make a lakefront visit. You have to. It's also if you're a Chicagoan and you lived by the lake most of your life and move away from the lake, it is a noticeable difference in your whole body. The Lake Michigan, we are fortunate to have that body of water right next to a major city. Like literally, you're able to throw a rock depending on where you live in Chicago, from the back of your house into the water. I love Lake Michigan. I love hanging out at the lake. I know that many Chicagoans do it out of ritual and out of habit, and it is sometimes underappreciated, but never forgotten. All you got to do is turn to your left, and it's there, no matter what you do. One of the things that Soul Collective does that I like is the assembly of different people to tell these stories. um, I think that lends to why this event has become even more popular than it did in the beginning, because many voices get a chance to participate. Is there a, and with that in mind, is there a, are we missing the opportunity based on the things that are happening because we have been hit over the head so much the last, I don't know, since COVID even, with this happening, that happening. Every day it's something new. I'm going to be going back in a little while on the show, the last 2 weeks of the Trump administration. There's like 35 things of consequence that happened within 14 days. Is there, do we need to be expanding this opportunity to tell our story so that we can start to find the place where we can get back to the comfort level that's required so we can keep doing what we have to do to survive here? And how will Soul Collective play a role in that expanding of the storytelling?
Yeah, we do two shows a year to try and make sure that our community has connectivity. So what we know is a true residual effect of COVID is isolation. And that's the point of making sure that we spotlight these universal stories and these universal themes to really help people enjoy their own humanity and recognize the humanity in others. And so what we know is when people come to our shows, they are happier, they are lighter, they have joy, even when we talk about hard things, because they know they're not alone. And we hear that over and over again. I probably shared with your audience before, but one of my favorite quotes, and this actually happened in probably our second show during lockdown, um, was we did a talk back with the audience, and someone said, "It was so refreshing to hear my story coming out of somebody else's mouth." And I will never forget that because, of course, that makes sense. Of course, that I could tell a portion of what's happened to me, and there's something in your memory, in your history, in your life experience that you can connect with. I've heard other people that have said, "You've helped me really think through my own family memories. And what was that nugget of lesson that some elder, some ancestor gave me a long time ago that had echo effects later in my adult life?" And so that's why I keep coming back to this genre, and why it makes sense to me. And also what gives me hope and confidence that we will get through the chaos of this moment.
Chaos indeed. This event, the Lake Effect with Soul Collective, takes place on the 13th and 14th of June. Where can folks go and get more information? Is it from your IG? One of the places that is?
Yeah, we have a bunch of different places. We made sure to make this as easy as possible for everybody. So you can go to our website, which is chisoulcollective.com. You can go to Little Black Pearl's website, which is where the tickets are housed, which is blackpearl.org. You can go to our social media, which is Shy Soul, SOL, Women with an X, WOMXN, or our Facebook or our YouTube, and all of them are the same handle.
Listen, I appreciate you all coming down. Thank you for coming onto your television and your computer for being on the show today. I cannot stress this enough to Chicago and all the folks that are listening. Soul Collective is real. It is the truth. If you want to check out amazing stories about a shared experience, because even the fellas, you can go and learn some things at these events, man. There are more commonalities running through us all than there are differences. Our differences get amplified, but there's so many commonalities about us, particularly Black people, brown folks. There's commonalities there. And our shared experience is the great experience. And to be able to hear these wonderful storytellers do their thing, it's an amazing, amazing thing to have that opportunity. So I hope that you all heed the words and find a way to get to Little Black Pearl on the 13th and the 14th of June. Not one night, go both nights. They're not going to do the same thing every night. Go both nights. Or maybe they will do the same thing every night. Who knows? Shelley, Ayana, thank you so much for being on the
Thanks
show
so
today.
much. Appreciate you every time.
You know what it is. And tell the fam, as always, Uncle Mario said hello. Nobody's a little kid anymore, so they're out of my hindsight. They're gone into the world. Congratulations on a great event in advance, and I will talk to you all soon.
Thanks, Mario.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.